Avengers 5. Boy, what a journey we have been on with this film. Announced back in, I think maybe it was the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con when it was announced, hey, we're getting Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars coming 2025 and 2026. That is no longer happening. This film has been delayed multiple times. And at this point, I don't think we even have a director yet, but they are set to begin filming next year. I think it's supposed to come out in 2026. We'll see. But it is going to start filming next year. Benedict Cumberbatch recently confirmed that, so we know he's going to be in the movie. But one of the biggest reasons, there's been multiple reasons this movie's been delayed. Just, the pandemic and the actors and writers strike. And, well, probably the biggest thing is Jonathan Majors, because that leaves it all up in the air. What's going to happen with Kang? Are they going to recast? I believe that's the route they're going down. But still, it seems like they're not going to call this movie Avengers the Kang Dynasty anymore. They're going to kind of... They may recast, but they're definitely taking the spotlight off that character, especially seeing that character hasn't been the most successful after his appearances in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and Loki. So the current rumor right now, according to Scooper Holyfield, the movie will be retitled to Avengers Forever, which is interesting, and is a storyline in the comics. And it seems like they're going to be adapting part of this storyline as well, because in the comics, for this storyline, there is a group of villains who come together from across the multiverse and fight our Avengers. And it's been teased that this Avengers 5 film, it's going to be the grounded version of Secret Wars, kind of, because it's going to be mostly set on our one Earth, but it will still have multiverse factors featured in as well, which I'll explain in a second. Because the other day, Holyfield News, aka Holyfield M5, again, this newer scooper on the scene, who I don't really know of their reliability, but they've been putting a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of the stuff they're saying I'm liking the sounds of, so figured we'd talk about it anyway, but, of course, as always, take this with a grain of salt. But Holyfield is saying that the Masters of Evil will make their MCU debut in a project that begins filming in 2025. The team will feature returning MCU villains and new ones from different universes. Now, previously, there was a rumor going around, not sure if it was from the same scooper or a different one, that Avengers 5 would feature a group of villains coming together. Now, for those who don't know who the Masters of Evil are, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a group of villains that come together and decide to call themselves the Masters of Evil. In the comics, the Thunderbolts actually were formerly the Masters of Evil, and then they went under disguise as the Thunderbolts as these heroes to take down the Avengers. So we're doing a little reversal in the MCU, but I feel like those are going to be two entirely separate entities when it comes to the MCU, the Thunderbolts and the Masters of Evil, and they may not even call themselves the Masters of Evil, because that is a pretty cheesy, cocky name to be going around with in the MCU, but we'll see. But the Masters of Evil is a really cool team, and this is something I've been wanting to see in an Avengers film for a while, specifically with Avengers 5, because I really didn't want to just jump right straight into the multiverse stuff with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I wanted to just give us another smaller scale Avengers movie, somewhere along the lines of the first Avengers film or Avengers Age of Ultron, where we're just rebuilding the Avengers team and they take down an Earth-based threat. Not everything, when they say Avengers level threat, doesn't have to be multiverse or aliens or something like that. Something like what we got in the Avengers Age of Ultron beginning when they were taking down that Hydra base. I would love to see more stuff like that where we just see these characters go out on these smaller missions. And seems like we're getting at least a taste of that, a version of that, with the Masters of Evil in Avengers 5. There's a great adaptation of the team in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is streaming on Disney+. Great show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But things get more interesting here because, just the idea that the Masters of Evil are supposedly going to appear in this movie is fascinating on its own. And, that leaves us open to interpret and speculate, who's going to be on the team. But Holyfield, again, scooper, take with a grain of salt, rumors for now. but they gave us a lineup of who's going to be on this team. And again, I don't know how accurate this is, but if it is, this sounds pretty darn cool. It ties up a lot of loose ends because Avengers 5 is the project that will feature the Masters of Evil, Baron Zemo, Sylvie, aka the Enchantress, Mordo, Abomination, Agatha, Justin Hammer, Jan Rog, and Doctor Doom from an alternate universe. So let's break this down, people. Now, Baron Zemo is the one that makes the most sense. Now, we've been wondering for the longest time, how the hell are you doing a Thunderbolts movie in the MCU without Baron Zemo when he's the one that formed the team in the comics? It just makes zero sense. But then again, to be fair, given Zemo's characterization in the MCU, it kind of wouldn't have worked as well. So I think transitioning him over to just be a part of the Masters of Evil makes much more sense because he also is the one that formed that team in the comics as well. So to bring him in here, I think would be great. Finally tie up that loose end. Another loose end that could be tied up is Sylvie from Loki. Now, in Loki, obviously she wasn't a villain, at least later on, she was at first, but this character is based off two characters in the comics, the Enchantress and Lady Loki, both of which in the comics are villains. Now, she was a heroic type character by the end of Loki season 2, which we believe is the final season, and so I don't really know why she would be a villain in this show, in this movie, but like I said, since she's based off the Enchantress is a staple of the Master of Evil in the comics. So I like the idea of bringing her in here. And just like all of these villains on this team, they're just connecting so many things together, so many projects, so many loose ends are being tied up. Speaking of loose ends, oh my god, Baron frickin' Mordo. This guy, post-credit scene in the first Doctor Strange movie. Oh, no more sorcerers. And the next time we see him is in the sequel, Multiverse Madness, but it's a variant of the character where it's not even the same one. So there was no point to it. We're still left with that cliffhanger from the post-credit scene of the first film. They, in fact, actually almost even killed off that version of the character in Multiverse Madness. Luckily, they didn't. But to finally bring him back, finally bring things full circle, finally have full Baron Mordo, it's about time, people. Am I right? Now, Abomination is another one. Why is he not on the Thunderbolts team? He would have made more sense than Baron Zemo because in She-Hulk, he was kind of redeemed. He was more heroic-ish. He's a good guy now, I guess, which I'm still not super happy about. But yeah, turn him evil again. Bring him to the Masters of Evil. I would absolutely love that. That would be so cool. You need your muscle for the team. Bring in Abomination, especially with this super cool looking new design that they gave him for his evolution in the MCU. It's great. Agatha is one that is a little confusing because again, she's not really a villain in the MCU anymore, and she definitely won't be in her series. I did a video the other day talking about the Midnight Suns. I think she'd make more sense for that team because, again, she's more heroic now, and also she kind of fits the whole supernatural vibe of that. But this would be cool to have her on the team. Just, again, connecting more projects in the MCU. But Justin Hammer especially. There are rumors he's going to be back for Armor Wars. I really hope that's the case. We don't know yet if Armor Wars, whether that will come out before or after Avengers 5, but I do hope we get some Justin Hammer in here. Sam Rockwell was amazing in his return as Justin Hammer in What If Season 2, so I would love to see him come back in live action, whether that's for Thunderbolts or Armor Wars or Avengers 5 and the Masters of Evil. All three even better, and he better suit up this time, either as Detroit Steel like he does in the comics, just another random Iron Man suit, or, my idea, Iron Patriot, since we don't have Norman Osborn in the MCU, make him Iron Patriot, have him take on the role that Norman Osborn does as Iron Patriot and with the Dark Avengers and all that stuff in the comics. That is something I would absolutely love to see. Now, Jan Rog is another one where it's just tying up loose ends because there were rumors for a while he was going to pop up in the second Captain Marvel movie in the Marvels. He never did. But Jude Law, he was a very underwhelming character, a very underwhelming villain in the first Captain America film. So it's not one of those characters where I'm like, oh, I need to see him back, but it's cool. Again, it's like bringing things full circle. Maybe he'll have some sort of power upgrade so he actually stands a chance against Captain Marvel. But you can see a lot of this is bringing together a group of villains that matches up against each member of the Avengers, which we don't even know each member of the Avenger who that's going to be. But you can kind of tell from this list, which I think is really cool. But finally, to round out this team, we have Doctor Doom specifically from another universe. Now, it's been rumored recently that Doctor Doom is coming to the MCU in a big way, especially after the whole shifting away from Kang. Secret Wars will be Doctor Doom's movie, which is really, really exciting. And they're really going to build up this character. There's rumors, so he's going to appear supposedly in the Fantastic Four movie, just with a small appearance. It's being said he's going to appear in 3 to 4 movies before Secret Wars. I believe Doctor Strange 3 is going to be one of them. So they're going to do a lot of building up and character work to Doctor Doom. And to have an alternate universe version, maybe our main 616 Doctor Doom or whoever we get in our first Fantastic Four movie, maybe that will be a more heroic anti-hero type version of the character. And then when Avengers 5 we get a multiverse version of Doctor Doom who is the pure evil Doom, then that will then set off a chain reaction to our Doctor Doom becoming like that Doctor Doom and becoming even more powerful, possibly even God Emperor Doom like he does in the Secret Wars comics. So that right there is something I'm incredibly excited to see. But with this being a multiverse team, obviously it seems like most of these characters would come from our main 616 universe. It's just multiverse Doctor Doom would come in and probably assemble them himself. But since we're dealing with the multiverse, this is just the team members that are listed by Holyfield. I want to have a little fun with this and speculate a bit, because since we're dealing with the multiverse, we could bring back characters who are dead in the MCU, bring back the actors, and bring back those villains, mainly just because I want to see Andy Serkis back as Ulysses Klaue. Klaue is another staple of the Masters of Evil in the comics. I would love to see him back in a more comics accurate look. Andy Serkis, you could tell, was just having so much fun, an absolute blast with that character in Black Panther and Age of Ultron. I would love to see him come back as fully fledged purple and red Klaue. That would be amazing. Same goes for Executioner, another great staple of the Masters of Evil in the comics, who goes hand in hand with Enchantress, with bringing Sylvie in here to this team. Karl Urban was great in the role when we saw him appear in Thor Ragnarok. Just a little waste of potential right there, because like they do most of the time, they killed him off in his first appearance, so that sucked. But to bring him back would be really, really awesome. The leader, Tim Blake Nelson, he's not dead in the MCU. We know he's coming back for Captain America Brave New World. So since he's fully going to become the fully fledged leader, he's a character that I think would fit in pretty well with this team as well. There's a lot of possibilities here. I'd love to see maybe MODOK come back, but in a better way. Look at this team right here. To see Klaue in that suit, to see Zemo alongside him, to see Agatha and Justin Hammer and Mordo, and maybe even a Red Skull. Maybe bring back High Evolutionary Arnim Zola. Titania, I don't care about her, but Red Hulk even. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to him at the end of Captain America 4, but I'm excited to find out. And guys, the Masters of Evil are coming. Avengers Forever. Like I said, this is just a random scoop coming from Holyfield that we don't know of their accuracy or their validity yet, but I'm holding out hope because this sounds really awesome, and I really do incredibly have so much hope that this ends up being true, because I would love to see the Master of Evil, and I think this is a great way to kind of ease the Avengers into reassembling to fight a group of villains, which again ties up a whole bunch of loose ends, brings all of these characters and these projects together. We've been complaining about lack of connectivity in phase 4, 5, and 6, so to bring it all together, ease into the multiverse for Secret Wars, which supposedly is going to be now a 2-part film on its own, is really, really exciting. I love me some villains, so to have these villains come together, I'm hyped. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about these rumors of the Masters of Evil in Avengers 5, which again could possibly be titled Avengers Forever? So thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.